My name is Lizzie Dunford and I am the director of Jane Austen's house. Jane Austen's house is one of the most important literary sites anywhere in the world. It was here that Austen wrote and revised all of her novels that are so beloved across the world today. The grant funding which we received from South East Museum Development in 2020 was so important for helping support our collections. We used some of the funding to help support a really exciting new thing for us, which was creating a virtual 360-degree tour of the house. We then effectively, in many ways, replicate what you would have if you were visiting the house in person. We start outside and we take around room by room and follow people through, and they can do that on their own. And the virtual tour itself, independently of our guided tour, has audio and music, and you can zoom in on all the wonderful objects and find out more detail about them. Alternatively, you can come on our guided tour, and that's led by members of staff, and that talks a little bit more in greater detail about some things and is able to respond to visitors' questions. And this really started as a way to maintain our engagement with visitors, and although the doors were physically closed, to remain digitally open. We always run the tours with two people, so they run as a double-hander, so one person will present and somebody else will also moderate and look at the chat and promote the chat, and it's really lovely. They always do something very similar, so it ensures there is consistency and quality. But then we'll also try and put in a few questions to kind of promote engagement and promote people talking. So things like, what's your favourite novel? And people are encouraged to ask questions so that the tours are related to their interests. The other thing that we'll do afterwards is we often send out a suggested reading list. So we have both the before, during and after, promoting engagement and promoting conversation. We're really lucky here at Jane Austen's house that we have a really engaged and active online audience. So we used all the different platforms that we have. We have active social media accounts across Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. We also have a newsletter which has a really high opening rate. It's really good with that engaged audience, and we promoted it through all of those different things. The virtual tour has now been launched pretty much a year, almost to the date of when we're recording this, which has been wonderful. And over that time, about 40,000 people have experienced the virtual tour in one way or another. We've had around 35,000 or so have actually taken part in the tour and have guided themselves. And then we've also done our own bespoke tours, our monthly guided virtual tours, school visits, and all the other different ways that people have interacted with that. And we're really proud of those figures. It's been really impactful on our audience engagement levels, particularly at a time when we couldn't have physical visitors. And that was really wonderful to be able to continue effectively our core mission, which is to be able to open the house up to the public and so visitors can come and explore the space. We've also think it's been very important in actually looking at accessibility. There are so many people who can't access this house for all sorts of reasons, even when there isn't a pandemic, for socioeconomic reasons. You know, they live on the other side of the world and it's really difficult and expensive to get here, or even they live just down the road but have access issues that mean it's difficult to make this journey. Being able to do this and have this very easy to access, it's very straightforward to be part of it, either as just guiding yourself or as part of the more guided tours. It's really helped our audiences to continue to engage and to feel very much a part of the house. I mean, we do have people that come on every single one of the guided tours we do. They come every month. So being able to still offer access to this space has actually been quite important, I think. It's been wonderful seeing visitors' responses to it, of the fact that it can really brighten someone's day. They come and they do something completely different and they go out of their house, although they're still sitting at home, and into somewhere completely new and completely different. And it's had incredibly positive feedback, to the point that actually now, if we offer something that we're doing in person, we will almost straight away getting something going, are you going to be doing this online as a tour? The total project was around £10,000. Of that, we spent just over half on the virtual tour itself. We did look at different quotes and different people that we wanted, and we went for the company that we felt best would represent the house and produced the highest quality images, but also gave us the longest guarantee around hosting and looking after us. If that's something you do need to think about with tech, it develops, it changes. For us, this was the best long-term offer, and I think it was one of the best investments we've made for quite a long time. The virtual tour and our online exhibitions and any other digital content we created at a base level is all free to access. And how we approach monetizing it was anything that involved more of our time and direct engagement with visitors was something that we would monetize. It was really impactful, the revenue that we generated through this, particularly through the first few months of 2021. During that time, the only self-generated income that we were getting was through our digital offer. We did also have a few talks and events through that, but that was the sole self-generated income that we were having during that time. And that was a huge boost, not necessarily financially, because it wasn't a huge amount of money. It doesn't replace visitors coming through the door. However, having that sense of still being able to generate your income and a sense of control of almost normality, because the visitors were still coming just in a completely different digital way and there was still some income generation, was hugely important for us in those early months of the year. I would very strongly recommend any other museums who are thinking of going down the same platform to just do it. It really is one of the things that we've done over the last 18 months that I am the most proud of, but also that I think has been the most successful amongst other successes, but just for a way of opening doors and increasing accessibility to a museum, and do it to the best level that you can afford. The more nuts and bolts and practical advice is really think very carefully about what you want to do. Set out your aims and objectives in advance. Really think through your audiences. Who are you wanting to talk to? Have a look back through your audience development plan. See if there's any particular areas that you can look to diversify your audience through this. Look at it quite strategically. Look at it how you are looking to overcome problems. And it can overcome problems. It can overcome access issues, but also give time to it. It's not going to be there. We were 3 months from funding yay to delivery, and actually conception we're probably looking at 5. Getting the content accessible, getting it so it meets all your different audience needs. I think that was the biggest challenge. And it wasn't, it's not necessarily a challenge, it's just something that you go through the process. Is this the right flow from room to room? So those were probably the things that we spent quite a lot of time with, is making sure we got it right. We knew what we wanted to achieve. It was quite simple. We wanted a really good virtual tour. We wanted to be able to do online exhibitions. And we wanted to continue to engage and share our collections digitally at a time when we possibly couldn't physically. And I think having it quite simple and with quite limited and easily achievable outcomes helped to smooth the process. We are definitely going to build on this. We know that digital is very much in our future. It's a very easy phrase to say, but I think all of us pre-pandemic museums across the country were looking at how we build our digital engagement, how we get more collections online, how we share online, and it was always a bit scary and hazy, and actually the pandemic kind of blew that out of the water. We had to do these things, and I think that's something that we'll take not only from that we can pull off quite a lot, quite quickly, but not a lot of money, and still embracing that flexibility of movement, but also to really develop what we've done and kind of really think of having this sense of a virtual museum. Embracing digital, it's effectively about breaking down walls, and I think that's relevant whether your audience is very local and you're very much an amenity property, or whether you're a destination site. So for us, our social media following, 80% are not based in the UK. So we do have that, but I don't think it really matters. It's about breaking down those barriers to accessibility. It's about breaking down the museum as an edifice and creating something that's far more porous, that encourages two-way conversation, that lets people to engage in non-traditional ways, which is what we are so focused on doing as a sector at the moment, is trying to bring more people to engage with heritage. But yeah, we are not going to stop. We are continuing to do online events throughout the year. We're certainly planning ahead for next year with digital. That's workshops, that's tours, a whole new range of exhibitions. Every exhibition that we do on site, that will also be offered digitally. So we continue to maintain that access.